welcome to episode 12 of the Stitch Goddess podcast. My name is Elizabeth. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Elissa Pack, and you can follow the hashtag Stitch Goddess and Stitch Goddess podcast on Instagram. I'm so happy you're taking some time to spend a little visit with me today. I have loads of things to talk about, and I'm just going to dive right in. And I have some lovely finished objects. I think last time I had been talking about working on finishing my Maytham shawl by Curious Handmade, Helen Stewart, and I finished it. I finished this, I think, July 30th, and I was so pleased to finish it by July 31st. I don't know why I set myself up with such an arbitrary date, but I'm really pleased with it. I do wish that I had been able to be a little bit more aggressive in the blocking, but my blocking mats are not big enough to fit this. So I would really like these points to be much more pronounced. But otherwise, I think this is a beautiful finished project. I really love it. It's really soft, and the peridot green color was absolutely perfect. I'm so pleased that I waited for it, and it has just a little bit of stellina, a little bit of sparkle, and I think that just makes it so nice. And it does have a real beautiful architectural quality to the stitching. I'm really pleased. I just absolutely love this shawl. And as soon as I finished it, I cast on another project and finished it in a week. These are my If a Mermaid Had Feet socks. And these are by Abby Morris, and this is in the Wool Barn Duck Egg Blue yarn. And I'm going to see if I can just pull this off and show you what the pattern looks like from the front. It has these beautiful scalloped waves on the toes, on the foot, and on the instep, on the leg. In different sizes, and I can't wait for the weather to cool off enough for me to start wearing socks. I don't really want to wear these around the house because we have carpet upstairs, and I wore one pair of handmade socks and they started to, it sounded like Velcro when I walked. It was like vroom, 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 and they started to felt. So I'm a little bit worried about how to wear these around the house without damaging the fabric. But these turned out so beautifully, and I'm really pleased that they only took me a week to finish. It was so fast. I remember casting on a Thursday morning, and next Wednesday they were both done. Really fast pattern. I highly recommend it. And I also recommend this yarn. This is from the Wool Barn, and it's I think this is a cashmere sock. Really soft. Makes a beautiful stitch. I'm just very pleased. I did notice, however, that there's sort of the law of unintended consequences. I was so focused on finishing these, again, for a random, no purpose reason, in a week, that all of a sudden I felt like I had become a project knitter and not a process knitter. And it sort of started with the Maytham shawl. I think I thought that there was a knit-along that had some sort of a finished line for the Maytham shawl, and there wasn't. When I went back into the forums on Ravelry, there wasn't, and for some reason I just pushed and wanted to speed through knitting these socks, even though I enjoyed them tremendously. They went very, very fast. But that's not the kind of knitter that I am. I love the whole process, from selecting the wool and the colors and pairing it up with a project. This yarn was absolutely the perfect yarn for this project, and I didn't know it until I actually had this yarn. All of a sudden, finishing these, I just realized in the middle of August, I need to stop and take a little break. And so I did. It's now almost the end of August, and I have not cast on anything new for the last 2 weeks. I have been knitting, and I have been working on other projects that are things that have just been sort of hanging around the house, that have been sort of looking at me, and I haven't spent that much time finishing them. And so I decided to give myself a little bit of a break. My whole 2018 challenge, where I wanted to knit 18 projects in 2018, with the finished project with this finished pair of socks, I just finished 16 projects. And I feel like it's good to have a list and it's good to have a challenge, but when you're going from one project to the next project, and in my list I had 3 more shawls, that really felt like I was diminishing how much work and how much love I put into this shawl, that I felt like I needed to reorganize my my queue. And so I have reorganized it, prioritized some socks, prioritized some sweaters that I want to wear in the fall, and I'm really, really happy with that. I do have some current works in progress. Oh, I'd like you to meet someone here. This is my big fat jumbo snowy owl. This was a Pearl Soho pattern. He's really big and really squishy, and I put him on my chair to help me focus my camera, and he just liked to stay today, so my owl is joining us. So one of the projects that I have been doing and really enjoying are these little birds of happiness, and I have a whole rainbow of yarn, little mini skeins, about I think there are 14 colors, and I've been making loads and loads of little birds of happiness. And I think I have marigold and sort of a canary yellow. Oops. Let's see if I can turn these around. There. But I'm going to make a little garland of sort of rainbow birds of happiness. I have the pattern memorized now, and so these are just kind of fun and relaxing to sit and knit and then stuff at the end. And I love the little expression on their faces. They're sort of quizzical, like they want to have a little conversation with you. I just think they're really cute, and they just bring a smile to my face. And so they've just been living in my Handmaids by Olivia project bag, and this has been a great little bag to keep them in. The other project that I have been picking up and working on more frequently has been my icy sweater, and this is where I am with it. I am at a point where I am ready to just knit. This is the front or the back, the body of the sweater, and I really wish I'd been able to sort of figure out how to do this on circular needles, because this is just taking forever. This is my oldest work in progress, cast on in 2004. So this is 14 years old, and the yarn is very, very thin, and as you can see, when you sort of pull it out of the ball, It weighs nothing. It's very, very light. And I have the entire project, including the other back, the other side, and all the other balls of yarn in here. So and this doesn't weigh anything at all. It probably weighs about as much as the project bag. So I've just been slowly working on this. It's like knitting with thread, and I'm a little worried that I'm gonna get to the end and hate this sweater. I hope not, because I'm not gonna tear it out. But this is Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and it is made up of 70% Super Kid mohair and 30% silk. And I think there's a huge craze going on right now for mohair, and I can't quite figure out why, because I'm not sure I really like this haziness. I'm not sure if I would like that even combined with another fiber, but I'm just plugging away on this project because it has been on the needles for a very long time, and I've been itching to cast on something new, and I've resisted because I will cast on something new and then forget about these other projects. And these other projects that I'm talking about are things like this icy sweater. I have been working on the Awesome Ocean quilt for almost a year now. I think it's been about a year or more. And I finally got all of the creatures sewn together in units, sewn together in rows, and sashing put between each row. So I've learned a lot making this Awesome Ocean quilt, and I'm really excited for it to be finished. And at that point, I'll be able to show you a really big video of it. I've taken pictures of each block individually and the back side of each block, because once it's quilted, you'll never see that again. So this is going to be a gift for my son, and I really hope he enjoys it. The other project that I'm working on is really tricky to show. It's also a quilt. It's a small quilt. It's about 36 by 36, maybe 36 by 42, a little bit bigger. It is a Haptic Labs Constellation quilt. And what you do is you make your quilt sandwich with the backing, the batting, the top fabric, and then you use a template on top of that. And instead of hand quilting, it's more embroidery stitches to keep this quilt all together. And this is a gift for a friend of mine, and so that's one reason why I don't really want to show it just yet. But it's also really difficult to see the detail of what's going on, because all of the stitches are right now barely visible through the template. So that is it's a wonderful project, because in the short amount of time that I've been working on it, I feel really calm and relaxed, and it just feels like a really good chance to slow down and think. And that has been really, really important, because I think about all the projects that I have and all of the work that I'm putting into these projects that I love to make, and I'm getting so much pleasure and joy from them, and I know that they're going to make the recipients very, very happy. So that's been a real plus. I have been impulse shopping again with stash enhancement, and I think this has got to be the end of stash enhancement for a while, because as much as I enjoy what I've purchased, I'm also feeling a little bit guilty because it's just gotten out of hand. But I love what I've purchased, and I'll share that with you. So I've been following Bethany on Woolberry Fiber Company, on Instagram, and she has a blog, I think, and she has a podcast, and she had a shop update a few weeks ago, and I could not stop myself. And I purchased 4 skeins. This is Graham's Garden. It's a berry sock. These are all sock weight. And this is speckled with rusts and oranges and turquoises and blues, and it's just stunning, and this really beautiful creamy base. Orange Blossom, which has this beautiful apricot peachy colorway to it, very soft. This one has cashmere. And then Box of Chocolates, and which is so funny because I have a little box of chocolates, or there used to be chocolates in there, but this was a box of chocolates from Paris, and this is exactly one of the colorways on that box, and so I think that's why I liked it so much. And also Endless Ocean. You can see a theme. This is my color. I love this color. But I found that in my Wool Barn minis, the Twist Sock minis, this is the blush mini. I think this would make a beautiful combination for heels and toes, and maybe even the cuff. And so I think these are just gonna stay together. Such a lovely color combination, and they both feel exquisite. So I'm really pleased with this. I thought it would be a little bit more blue instead of the peacock blue. I thought it would be more blue, but I still really love this color. And I also had been watching Kristen from Woolenvine Yarns and the Yarngasm podcast, and she was talking about spinning and using a spindle. And she showed, this is a video that's probably 3 years old at this point, and it was a Rolag that she bought from Ren & Ollie, and it was stunning with these mauves and dark purples and a beautiful filament of like metallic quality that was pink and gold or something. It was gorgeous. So of course I went on to Ren & Ollie's website, and they don't carry those Rolags, but I did find 2 skeins of, these are both the same colorway. This is called Smitten Kitten. I love that name. And this is the Superwash Merino Twisted Single. And this is the Exotica Single, and this one has superwash, 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak. It's very soft. It is exquisite. And I love that they're the same colorway, but they look different. And I was very, very pleased because I have a ton of this color, which is Madeline Tosh Merino Light Lepidoptera, and I bought 6 skeins of this. This is almost 2,400 yards, and I'm going to use this with this to make a Zweig sweater. I had been planning on using a pale gray color for the yoke, and I just didn't really like it, and I saw this, and I was really hoping that as soon as it came in, that it would be the right color, and it is. It's gorgeous. I mean, I could do this or this, and I think it would be exquisite either way. I think it would be really interesting. It creates a totally different feel. But I had pulled out another skein of Madeline Tosh. This is the Euro Sock. And this is the yarn that I had made a Victoria sweater in. And I really don't like that sweater. But I love the Zweig sweater, so I could make 2 Zweig sweaters. Completely frog the Victoria, skein it up again, and make a Zweig with this being the statement yarn of the yoke. I think that would be really beautiful. I think these colors go together very well. I don't know if I really want another sweater. I don't know if I want two Zweig sweaters. I don't know if I want a sweater with where this is the main body color again. So this could end up being a shawl where this could be the main color and this could be an accent color. And since I have so much of this, this will end up being lots of different socks. Just to experiment with patterns and lacework, cables, who knows what. But that's the plan for this. So while I am thrilled with my purchases, at the same time, I think it's more of a cautionary tale because I added it all up and it was ridiculous. And I'm basically out of money for the rest of the year. So I don't recommend indulging in every single impulse. I do believe in using what you have and enjoying it. And so I do have a huge number of projects that will last me well into next year. And so I'm looking forward to getting started on lots of those. But so pretty. It just absolutely makes me really happy, even though I've extended myself beyond my budget. So that's about all I have today. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope you have lots of joy in your crafting, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.